Yeah, broadly I see like there's some parallels here between audio content and the internet in general. Whereas like in China, things are more sort of walled gardens, right? It's very much, especially in the mobile era, an app economy, right? Where content is within these walled gardens, whether it's Weibo, whether it's WeChat, whether it's Jinro Toutiao, whatever, right? And the platforms sort of dominate the algorithms and surfacing that content and sort of intermediate that relationship with the user. Whereas in the West, it's more, a lot more is on the open web. A lot more is like driven by Google search, where people will go to Google to find content, type into that search bar. And the open web is driven mostly by sort of more open standards. And so you've got a lot of different blogs and sources of content. And so for audio, mostly in the US market and Western markets, podcasting is a bit more like the open web, right? Like it's like there's an RSS standard, and it's a bit like blogging used to be, but it's perhaps even behind that because there's really not too many successful business models around podcasting audio content. I think that is changing. Definitely moves. Spotify is trying to move into this space, and it's quite clear they've got plans to do stuff. And I think Apple's taking it a bit more seriously recently, and maybe that's because as 4G to 5G and also things like AirPods as well make listening a much better experience.
But you mentioned that the term open web, which is kind of got me really. It's an interesting topic because I think open web is actually dead in China.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so when we compare the most of the podcast and actually independent blogs, the situation is quite different in China and the US because I think it's in the early 2010s, China passed a law that basically eliminate personal blogs, personal websites, because you have to get a license and requirements, and those licenses are not actually available to individuals for quite a long time. I'm not sure if they actually lifted that restriction, but it's been there for quite a while. And during the same period, we see the rise of the platforms, especially Weibo, WeChat, and then for the audio, we have Himalaya and Legion stuff. RSS feeds, which is kind of a byproduct of personal blogs, is pretty much a foreign concept in China right now because, well, what is RSS? You can't even have a proper Chinese name for it. And because of that law and the development after that, China internet is basically controlled by a few large internet companies, which are listed in the US stock market somehow.